Hello, welcome to 2025. It's all thanks to one thing, artificial intelligence or AI. AI is everywhere now. No, it's much more mundane. It's in your phone, your car, making things smoother, faster, and just a little bit odd. This is the reality of 2025. It's a world of incredible convenience. But there's a catch. The problem is, we've sleepwalked into this new era. We clicked I agree on terms and conditions that were longer than a Victorian novel. We have embraced the magic of AI with the wide-eyed wonder of a child, and those secrets are starting to have consequences. For every helpful AI application, there's a potential ethical minefield. It's like a delicious-looking cake that, upon closer inspection, is filled with spiders. These systems are reshaping our society, influencing who gets a job, a loan, or parole. We're trusting them without fully understanding how they work. Now you might just get a cold, automated rejection. This is AI ethics, the study of moral problems from creating AI. It's a conversation for everyone, because these systems affect everyone. AI is the new gatekeeper, and we need to ask who they're keeping out. We are building machines that reflect us, warts and all. We feed them biased data, then act surprised at the unfair results. When people worry about AI ethics, it boils down to a few key areas, like the 4 horsemen of a potential AI apocalypse: privacy, bias, job loss, and autonomous decisions. These challenges are already here, impacting our lives. Every AI-powered service you use trades your personal data for convenience. AI systems learn from data, and if that data reflects existing societal biases, the AI will learn those biases too. There is a real possibility of job losses across many industries. Who is responsible when a self-driving car crashes? Let's talk about privacy. Remember when your secrets were safe? Now your mattress reports your sleep. We're in a data gold rush. The gold is you. Every click, show, and place you go. It's mined, refined, and sold. AI is the shovel. Free apps learn everything about you. Algorithms sift through it all. They're building a digital you. Companies say it's for personalization. But personalization is surveillance. The goal? To predict and influence you. It's about turning you into a predictable consumer. And we volunteered. We put surveillance in our pockets. We didn't read the fine print. We traded privacy for faster food and internet arguments. It used to be that your home was your castle, your sanctuary. Well, those days are over. Thanks to smart devices, your home is now a high-tech observation room. Your smart speaker is always listening. Your smart doorbell is recording everyone. Your home has become a talkative informant, spilling all your secrets. We are creating a permanent, detailed record of our private lives without any real control over who gets to see it. We filled our safe spaces with corporate listening posts, all in the name of convenience. In exchange, we've given corporations and governments a permanent eye into our private lives. Okay, so companies know you like weird documentaries, and let's be honest, that you eat too much ice cream. So what? Who cares about a few targeted ads? Well, the problem goes much deeper than that. The erosion of privacy isn't just an annoyance. It has real, tangible consequences for our lives and our society. When everything about you is knowable, it fundamentally changes the power dynamic between you and large institutions. It makes you vulnerable in ways you can't even imagine. And the AI systems crunching all this data are making that vulnerability a permanent state of being. For starters, think about your future opportunities. Let's imagine a young man named Kevin. In his youth, Kevin posted some dumb, edgy political memes on social media. Years later, in 2025, he applies for a job. The company uses an AI-powered screening tool that scours the internet for information on candidates. The AI flags Kevin's old posts, assigns him a low cultural fit score, and automatically rejects his application. Kevin never even gets an interview. He never knows why he was rejected. A decision that will affect his entire career was made by an algorithm based on data from a decade ago, with no context, no chance for appeal, and no human oversight. This kind of digital judgment can follow you everywhere. The same data can be used to deny you a loan, a mortgage, or a spot in a university. We are creating a system of permanent reputation where your past mistakes, no matter how small, can never be forgotten or forgiven, because the data is stored forever. The AI doesn't care that you've grown as a person. It just sees data points and patterns. This could lead to a new kind of social caste system, where people are judged and sorted based on their data profile, with little to no hope of changing their designated category. It's a recipe for a rigid, unforgiving society. Furthermore, the loss of privacy is a direct threat to democracy. A healthy democracy requires spaces for private thought and discussion. It needs people to be able to explore new or unpopular ideas without fear of being watched. But when governments can use AI to monitor citizens' online activity, read their private messages, and track their movements, it creates a chilling effect. People become afraid to speak out, to organize, or to challenge authority. The same tools that are used to sell you sneakers can be used to suppress dissent and enforce conformity. When privacy dies, freedom is not far behind. It becomes much easier to control a population that has no secrets left to keep. Our privacy is in the back of a speeding van. Is it too late to get the genie back in the bottle? The situation can feel hopeless. First, we need to talk about regulation. We need strong, clear laws that give people genuine control over their information. Think of it like a nutritional label for data. Second, we need to demand better technology. Finally, this comes down to a cultural shift. Privacy is not about hiding bad things. It's about having the freedom to be yourself. If we don't start now, we risk waking up in a world where the concept of a private life is nothing but a distant, nostalgic memory. Let's talk about bias. Tech companies sell us the idea that machines are perfectly objective. This is a fairy tale. The myth of the unbiased machine is dangerous. An AI system can be just as biased as any prejudiced person. It hides its prejudice behind mathematics, making discrimination look like objective truth. We're building systems that supercharge our biases, automate them, and deploy them at a massive scale. AI bias comes from the data we feed it. If that information is drawn from our flawed world, guess what patterns the AI will find? We are holding up a mirror to ourselves. We are increasingly outsourcing our judgment to the mirror itself. Prejudice is coded directly into the infrastructure of our daily lives. This is a profoundly bad idea. In computer science, there's a saying, garbage in, garbage out. This is key to understanding AI bias. An AI is only as good as its training data, which often reflects our societal biases. For example, a tech company's recruiting tool was trained on historical hiring data. Because the tech industry was male-dominated, the AI penalized resumes with the word women's. It learned to be sexist. Similarly, facial recognition systems, trained primarily on images of white men, are less accurate at identifying women and people of color. AI models predicting criminal recidivism have also been biased against black defendants. The algorithm replicates the garbage we give it, creating a dangerous feedback loop. The AI's prediction becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, all while looking like impartial data science. So why does this matter so much? Because in 2025, these biased AI systems are no longer just experiments in a lab. They are the new gatekeepers. They are sitting at the digital doors of our most important institutions, deciding who gets in and who is left out. They are making decisions about things that can change the entire course of your life: getting a job, securing a loan, receiving medical care, or even being accepted into college. And if these gatekeepers are biased, they are systematically shutting doors on entire groups of people, often the very same people who have been historically disadvantaged. It is the same old discrimination, just with a fancy new algorithm. Imagine a woman named Maria, a smart and qualified entrepreneur. She applies for a small business loan to expand her bakery. The bank uses an AI algorithm to assess credit risk. The AI has been trained on decades of loan data, which shows that historically, men in certain professions have been more likely to repay their loans. The AI doesn't know anything about Maria's brilliant business plan or her perfect payment history. It just sees patterns. It sees woman, it sees baker, and it associates those data points with a slightly higher risk profile based on its historical data. Maria's loan is denied. She never speaks to a human. A biased algorithm just decided the fate of her dream. This digital gatekeeping extends into all corners of life. In healthcare, an AI system designed to identify patients who need extra care might be trained on healthcare spending data. But historically, due to systemic inequalities, Black patients have often had less money spent on their care. So the AI learns that Black patients are less sick or need less help because less has been spent on them. As a result, it fails to flag them for crucial extra care programs, leading to poorer health outcomes. The algorithm, in its quest for patterns, ends up perpetuating a deadly inequality, deciding who gets access to life-saving treatment based on flawed historical data. The most insidious part of this is the illusion of objectivity. If a human loan officer or doctor made these biased decisions, you could call them out. You could file a complaint. You could appeal to anti-discrimination laws. But how do you prove an algorithm was biased against you? The company will just say the computer made the decision based on thousands of data points. It's just math. This makes it incredibly difficult to fight back. We are creating a world where discrimination is laundered through a black box of code, making it harder to see, harder to prove, and harder to fix, effectively giving prejudice a 21st century upgrade. This all sounds pretty bleak, It feels like we've built a bunch of robot bigots and put them in charge of everything. So, what can we do? Can we perform a digital exorcism and cast the demons of bias out of our algorithms? The answer is yes, we can try. But it is incredibly difficult and complicated. There is no simple on or off switch for fairness. Fixing AI bias is not just a technical challenge. It's a deep societal one. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about what fairness even means and what kind of world we actually want to build. This is not a job for coders alone. It's a job for all of us. One of the first steps is demanding transparency and accountability. We need laws that require companies to audit their algorithms for bias. If an AI is making important decisions about people's lives, we have a right to know how it works. We need the ability to test these systems, to see what data went into them, and to challenge their outcomes. This is often called algorithmic accountability. It's the idea that if a company deploys an AI gatekeeper, they are responsible for making sure it isn't discriminatory. They can't just throw their hands up and say, "The math did it." They built the machine, and they are responsible for the consequences. Another key part of the solution is better data. Remember garbage in, garbage out? Well, the opposite is also true. If we want fairer AI, we need to feed it fairer data. This might mean carefully curating datasets to ensure they are representative of all groups. It might mean creating synthetic data to fill in the gaps where historical information is biased or missing. It also means having diverse teams of people building these systems. If the only people in the room building an AI are from one demographic, it's much more likely they will have blind spots and create a system that reflects their own limited worldview. Ultimately, however, technology alone cannot solve a problem that is fundamentally human. Debiasing an AI requires us to have very hard conversations about our own values. What does a fair outcome look like? Does fairness mean the AI treats everyone exactly the same? Or does it mean the AI works to correct for existing societal disadvantages? These are not technical questions. They are ethical and political ones. We can't just code our way out of centuries of inequality. Fixing biased AI means we have to get serious about fixing our biased world. The algorithms are just a mirror, and if we don't like the reflection, we can't just break the mirror. We have to change ourselves. All right, let's saddle up our third horseman of the AI apocalypse: job loss. This is the one that gets everyone's attention. It's the classic primal fear. The robots are coming for our jobs. But now, in 2025, it's not a cartoon anymore. They are sophisticated AI programs, invisible algorithms, and they're not just coming for factory jobs. They're coming for everyone. It's an economic earthquake, and we are all standing right on the fault line. But the problem is that efficiency is just a polite word for you're fired. And we are seeing this happen at a scale and speed that is frankly terrifying. Now, enter the AI-powered self-driving truck. For the millions of human truck drivers, it's a nightmare. What are all those people supposed to do now? But when you add them all up, you are looking at a level of social disruption that we are completely unprepared for. Now, if you're sitting there in your comfortable office chair thinking, well, that's sad for the truck drivers, but my job is safe, I have some bad news for you. The first wave of automation came for blue-collar jobs that involved repetitive physical labor. This new wave, powered by advanced AI, is coming for white-collar jobs. It's coming for the jobs that we used to think were safe because they required a brain. It turns out, AI is getting a pretty good brain, and it's a brain that can read legal documents, analyze financial reports, and even write computer code, all without needing a single drop of caffeine. Take the legal profession. For a long time, a big part of a junior lawyer's job was to spend countless hours sifting through mountains of documents, looking for evidence in a process called discovery. It was tedious, but it was a job. Now, an AI can do that in a matter of minutes. It can scan millions of pages, identify relevant documents, and flag key information with an accuracy that no human could ever match. That's great for the law firm's bottom line, but it's not so great for the thousands of law school graduates who were counting on those jobs to pay off their massive student loans. It's the same story in finance. AI algorithms can now analyze market trends, predict stock movements, and execute trades faster than any human trader. They can pore over financial statements and detect signs of fraud that a human auditor might miss. Even creative fields aren't safe. AI can now generate marketing copy, design logos, compose music, and even write basic news articles. Any job that involves recognizing patterns and synthesizing information is now potentially on the chopping block. And as it turns out, that describes a whole lot of jobs that we used to call knowledge work. The scary part is that we don't know where it will stop. As AI gets more and more capable, the list of jobs it can do will only get longer. We are automating not just our hands, but our minds. This raises a fundamental question about the future of work itself. If AI can do the physical work and the intellectual work, what is left for humans to do? We're told that new jobs will be created, jobs we can't even imagine yet. And while that might be true, it's also a bit like telling a horse in 1910 not to worry about the automobile because one day it could get a job in a glue factory. It's not exactly a comforting thought. As traditional jobs get automated, many are turning to the gig economy. It's sold as freedom. Be your own boss, set your own hours, work when and where you want. But this freedom can be a high-tech trap managed by AI. The AI tells workers where to go, what orders to take, and how much they'll be paid, constantly adjusting pay based on demand. It's a system that strips away the human elements of work and replaces them with algorithmic management. After all that, is there any hope? Or should we all just start practicing our cat photography skills? Well, it's not necessarily that bleak. The story of technological change has always been one of disruption, but also adaptation. AI will create new jobs, freeing us from tedious work, allowing us to focus on uniquely human skills. In this future, AI augments human capabilities. It doesn't replace them. We need a massive investment in education and retraining, accessible programs that give people the skills they need. Ultimately, this may force a bigger conversation about the value of work and our economy. This isn't just economic, it's moral. What kind of society do we want when robots do all the work? Let's talk about the biggest ethical challenge: letting AI make life or death decisions, especially in healthcare. In 2025, AI isn't just scheduling appointments, it's diagnosing diseases, reading X-rays, and recommending treatments. The upside? AI can spot illnesses earlier than humans, analyze vast medical data, and personalize care. But what if it gets it wrong? Who's responsible? The doctor, the hospital, or the software company? And can a machine deliver bad news with empathy, or weigh a patient's values in tough choices? When an AI decides who gets a ventilator, it reduces a moral dilemma to a math problem, stripping away compassion. Are we ready to let algorithms decide who lives and who dies? If AI in medicine worries you, consider this. Algorithms are now influencing legal decisions: bail, sentencing, even parole. The promise is fairness and objectivity, but AI trained on biased data can reinforce injustice. Case in point, risk assessment tools have flagged Black defendants as higher risks, echoing systemic bias. Instead of removing prejudice, we're automating it, faster and with a veneer of science. Justice isn't just data, it's context, mercy, and understanding. Can an algorithm see the human story behind a crime or offer redemption? Handing over these decisions risks a justice system without compassion. Autonomous systems will make mistakes. Cars crash, medical AIs misdiagnose, legal algorithms misjudge. But who's responsible when there's no human in the loop? This is the moral crumple zone. Blame gets deflected. If a self-driving car faces a no-win scenario, is it the owner, the programmer, or the company at fault? The same goes for military drones or any autonomous tech. Accountability is murky. This ambiguity lets companies dodge responsibility while reaping rewards. We can't let "the algorithm did it" become an excuse. If we trust machines with power, we must decide who answers for their actions. AI isn't just in hospitals and courts. It's shaping our daily lives, often invisibly. Algorithms decide what news you see, what prices you pay, and even if your job application is read. Social media AIs feed you content to keep you scrolling, creating echo chambers and polarization. Dynamic pricing algorithms judge what you'll pay, sometimes charging more based on your device or location. Outsourcing these choices erodes our agency. We become passive consumers in a curated reality. Convenience is tempting, but at what cost to our autonomy? Are we willing to trade freedom for algorithmic comfort? After this tour of AI's pitfalls, it's easy to feel powerless, but we're not. The future isn't set. We can shape how AI impacts our lives. These are human problems, and they need human solutions, rules, ethics, and public engagement. When cars were new, we made traffic laws and safety standards. We can do the same for AI. Now's the time to set the rules of the digital road before we end up in a data-driven pileup. It'll take smart regulation, ethical design, and an informed public demanding change. The choices we make now will decide if AI liberates us or controls us for decades to come. We need to talk about regulation. We can't trust tech companies to regulate themselves. We wouldn't let a pharmaceutical company sell a new drug without rigorous testing. So why do we let tech companies unleash powerful algorithms with virtually no oversight? We need a Bill of Rights for the digital age, including a right to data privacy. We need algorithmic transparency and accountability, especially for AI systems that make critical decisions. We need dedicated government agencies to oversee this technology. It's about setting up guardrails on the highway to the future. It's time for some adult supervision. Government regulation is crucial, but the most powerful force for change is an informed, engaged public. Right now, most people have a fuzzy understanding of how AI works, and companies benefit from this confusion. The first step in fighting back is to educate ourselves and each other. We need to teach digital literacy from a young age, not just how to use a tablet, but how the tablet is using them. Seek information from journalists and researchers, and talk to friends and family about it. Armed with knowledge, we can start pushing back. We can vote with our wallets and demand more control over our data. When companies do wrong, we need to make noise and make it clear that there is a real cost to being unethical. Reject the idea that this technology is too complex to control. We can choose to be more mindful and shape the future of AI. The fight for a better digital future is a fight we can't afford to lose. Well, we've made it. We have galloped through the ethical minefield of 2025 alongside our 4 trusty horsemen: privacy, bias, job loss, and autonomous decisions. It's a cheerful, uplifting picture, isn't it? But here's the thing. This isn't the end of the story. It's a summary of where we are right now, at this bizarre, terrifying, and incredibly important crossroads. The choices we make today are setting the precedent for the world our children will inherit. A world that could be one of incredible progress, or one that could be a deeply unequal, surveillance-heavy dystopia. The outcome is not preordained. We've seen that the promise of AI is genuinely immense. The technology itself is not inherently good or evil. It's a tool. And right now, it is amplifying both the best and the worst parts of our society. The great challenge of our time is to figure out how to get more of the good stuff and a lot less of the bad. So as we stand here in 2025, we have to acknowledge the complete mess we're in. But the good news is, we still have shovels. Alright, so what's the final takeaway? What am I supposed to leave you with other than a deep-seated fear of your microwave? It's this: you have to give a damn. That's it. That's the secret. You, the person reading this, have to decide that this matters. You have to reject the comforting numbness of thinking this is all too complicated or too inevitable to do anything about. It's not. This isn't about becoming a computer scientist or a constitutional lawyer. It's about being a citizen. It's about recognizing that the rules of our digital world are being written right now. And if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And frankly, the AI probably knows exactly what wine pairing goes best with you. We need to start asking hard questions, and we need to start demanding real answers. The next time you download an app, ask why it needs access to your contacts and your location. The next time you hear a politician talk about using AI to make government more efficient, ask them how they're going to ensure it's not biased. The next time a company unveils a shiny new AI product, ask them about their privacy policy and their ethical guidelines. We need to be curious, skeptical, and relentlessly annoying. We need to treat the promises of tech companies with the same healthy disbelief we'd reserve for a man in a trench coat trying to sell us a watch. This is a fight we have to wage on multiple fronts. We need to push for smart regulation that protects our rights and holds power accountable. We need to support the journalists, academics, and activists who are doing the hard work of investigating these systems. We need to teach our children to be critical digital citizens, and we need to have these uncomfortable conversations with our friends and families. This is our world, and these are our lives. We cannot afford to be passive passengers on a journey to a destination we didn't choose. We need to be the navigators, even if it means yelling at the GPS until it listens. So please, don't just close this page and go back to scrolling through whatever algorithmic slurry your phone has decided you need to see. Think about it. Talk about it. Get a little bit angry about it. Because the future of human dignity, fairness, and freedom might just depend on our collective ability to look at the shiny, convenient, all-knowing machine we are building and have the courage to say, "Hold on a second, I have some notes. The future is not yet written. Let's make sure we write a good one. Thank you."